We're so pleased to be joined by Dr. Tommy John III. Look, minimize injuries, maximize performance. Such an important topic. We're going to dive in right now about injuries to youth sports and how to prevent it and everything else. This is Dr. Tommy John III. But I want to ask you, before we even dive into the book and everything we're talking about,
Sure.
When was the first time you heard about your dad's surgery, the famous Tommy John surgery, and what he had to go through to come back? How old were you?
So, I don't remember a lot of it because he had it in 74. I was born in 77. I just remember him doing things daily while he was driving, in his room, during dinner. There was always something he was doing, which I was intrigued on. What exactly is going on? I knew he had had a surgery. I didn't know the complexity of it or exactly what he was up against till I went back to school at 32. And there was the Strasburg scandal. He was benched before the playoffs and all this. So that's when I honestly asked him every detail, my dad, the details on what he went through. And I wrote down at 32 years old in pencil exactly what he went through. I was gravitated towards the rehab and training process prior to knowing anything about it. When I ended up connecting the dots, it just ended up the principles we were both practicing.
That was going to be my next question before we lead into what we're going to dive in here was, so that kind of led you down the path of medicine and being able to deal with all this.
I was always drawn to preparation and the magnificence of the human body. I played college ball. I played professionally for 2 years. I had an infection in my shoulder from an MRI. So I had something that was life-threatening. In the rehab process, I was starting to pull apart why people were getting injured, and I was fascinated to the cause of everybody's complaints from 9 to 99, and I wanted to get at the source.
Now, what's fascinating about your work is it's dedicated to helping youths avoid Tommy John surgery, as well as many other things that occur now with injuries to youth in sports. What are you seeing as far as trends in what is happening to different kids playing sports?
So scarily, I've been in this 19 years. I was a part of the problem, not only in training and rehab, but I did over 11,000 baseball lessons during the off season. I was a part of that problem, and it was attacking my conscience, so I shut down the school. I wanted to go to a higher level upstream to see who, where, what was going on. The trends are now turning into the 10, 11, 12-year-old was coming into my cage, experiencing degenerative conditions. This was 10 years ago, guys.
Wow.
Degenerative conditions that I was working on in the 50, 60, 70-year-old. So now we're fast forward.
In the 50, 60, and 70-year-olds, you were seeing it in 10-year-olds.
I was seeing it in 10, 11, 12-year-olds. And that's when I started, it clicked. I'm like, something's not right. And it was all sports, not just baseball. So I backed out, went back to school, put this all together. Sadly, we've evolved, or devolved, I should say, 10 years later, where I said to you guys, I wish the arm was all we had to worry about. We got non-contact ACLs. Pediatric ACL surgeries are concerned. Concussions, stress fractures in spines. And wait for it, here's the scariest one. Kids are being medicated for anxiety and depression due to their inability to perform in sport.
Unbelievable.
So the pressures are so extreme that now we have all this, and all sports are suffering, and no kid is safe.
So is it parents driving kids? And what, if so, what do you think is the driving force with parents? Is it funding, finances?
It's all that. It's a threefold. We always keep looking for the one or two variables that we can implement inside the sport to change. It's not working. So if we look at it, it's threefold. It's our American lifestyle, business and youth sports, preying on parents that only want the best for their kid. The American lifestyle. These kids are malnourished. They're not getting nutrients to just build a healthy body, let alone a sport athlete body. They're sitting in front of screens, which screen time and phone time and iPad time increases their sympathetic response, lowers their immune response. Kids are not going outside and playing for the first 9 years of life. Now we're trying to replace that free play, which is developing their brain and movements for skill in sport. Now we're trying to train it out of them 3 times a week in 1 hour, and we're just compounding errors. Then you have the parents, like literally the youth sports industry is targeting the parents. The youth sports business is $17 billion a year in unnecessary camps, clinics, showcases, lessons, like I said, I was a part of. Yeah. And it's only coming from somewhere. A parent just wants the best for their kid.
Well, there's so much I want to dive in here.
Yeah.
First, you said a word, though, unnecessary.
Yeah.
I've been big on not allowing my kids to play travel ball, stuff like that. They're going to be fine when they get to high school, and they'll compete with you then. You can travel all you want. They're going to compete with you then. Yeah. And that's the gamble I'm taking as a parent, trusting that they're going to be good when they get to high school. But I want them to be healthy and enjoy it and be able to go ahead and play at that level that they feel like they want to be at.
And that's the ideal way. And you don't have to go far to find the research that supports that. There is a time to get more intense. There is a time to focus.
Yeah.
It is not at 9, 10, and 11. We have tried to bring the words elite and youth together, and those need to be divorced. Youth develop at different rates. And even research is showing who's good at 9 and 10 is rarely good at 17, 18, 19.
Right.
So you're on the right track.
So what else should parents be doing? What's the solution here in your mind?
So the solution literally has to be, one of the first things I have people come into my office, they list all the things they've been doing that they're still in pain or still diseased or dysfunctional. They have to admit that what they're doing is not working. So we have to rethink this whole process. So let's step back. If we just took it simple and just said, let's do the opposite of what we're doing right now, that'd be a nice little start.
Wow.
You know, so, and understand that it literally is from womb till they're gone, it's in their hands, but not scaring them, but understanding that they do have the responsibility, and with that comes power. It's on you guys. The solution's in your hands. There's no doctor, therapist, trainer, coach, facility, wearable technology that's going to save your son or daughter from being a stat. It's in your hands, and that's amazing.
So I'm curious, with the knowledge of your dad and what he's gone through and the conversation you had from 32 to now, how much that's impacted your vision and what you're trying to do here?
Yeah, so this picked me, right? I follow my heart on almost everything. Gets me into trouble sometimes, but we're all right. But if I can use this platform at Tommy John Surgery to broadly address a bigger problem in this country that's infecting worldwide, then let's do it. But again, my least concern is Tommy John Surgery. But if I have to go that route to affect a broader spectrum, let's go.
So what's in the book? What are all the things we've discussed, or what else is in here?
It's a 4-part plan, so it's literally this rethink, replenish, rebuild, recover system. It's principles now, because there's no system that everyone can fit into. It's just principles, and you get to decide how you apply that to your lives, to your family, to your individuals. I said family. It's not the athlete, it's not the individual, it's everybody together. From where are you going to get these foods, what the training is. Tryout tests that I do in my office that will show these red flags that anybody can see. It's in your hands.
You know, you're up against a big behemoth.
Yeah.
$17 billion industry where everybody thinks their son or daughter is going to be the next Manny Machado or Harper contract.
Right. My legs are strong, Harold. I'm ready.
Do you have any help?
Let me ask you this, Tommy. Do parents want to hear it?
That's a good part. So the people that should be hearing it aren't attending my talks. And that's what I love about the book is there's nothing wrong with that. Reflexively, if somebody came to us and said we needed to change something, we'd immediately be like, whoa, who are you? That guy doesn't know or she doesn't know anything. I expect that. We expect that. That's with any kind of change. What's great about that is in the privacy of their homes. They can dive through and go when it's ready for them to deal at the expense for the sake of your kids. And you don't have to go far. I try to tell people all the time, just Google youth sports specialization, youth sports injuries. It's there. The research is behind you.
So last thing before we let you go.
Do it.
You've got USA baseball, USA football, USA basketball, all the different umbrellas. I know in baseball they put markers in for pitch count, pitch track, and different things like that. What else can we be doing to effectively change how this is going? Because this is an epidemic that we're seeing now.
So honestly, I really think we need to, this outside-in composite where we're trying to change the weather to prevent frostbite instead of putting on a coat and gloves. Let's constantly talk about the younger we start. If we start young, what's sad is if we make the changes necessary and we promote it, we have to wait 10 to 15 years to see the biggest level of sports change. And nobody wants to do that. What's the thing we could, from the top down, what's the immediate change we can do now? There won't be. It has to be everything. But if we have guys going on TVs giving public service announcements, not for another indoor facility, but for this is how I did it, this is how you did it, this is how you did it, and we keep on that, over time, it has to. It has to.
Well, I've been a big advocate for playing different sports.
Yes.
Being able not to just play one, but be well-rounded. That's going to rest your body, be able to do it right. So, Tommy John, man, thank you.
Brother.
Appreciate it, man.
Guys.
Appreciate
Thanks for the time. Thank you.